Before before Vikas joins us, I think he is facing some technical issues, which he faced in that we have a test link. I can give you a little bit of background on Vikas. He works with RSA, which is Royal Sun Alliance in the UK, and actually they recruit from ISBF for the data analytics team. And this year we have sent our first student there to take a position as a data analyst. Obviously, their main business is actuarial science, and he's going to be talking more about that. But just so you know, at least in India, that division is, there's clearly two divisions there. We are also talking with them to get credits for the University of London program, so that if you want to become an actuarial scientist, you can get credits from our course at LSE towards those exams. Those talks have been in the work for some time, and we're hoping to get some conclusions on that, on those credits for the actuarial exams. So just to give you a little bit of background, we do have a long-standing relationship with Royal Sun Alliance, and Vikas himself. He's done many talks for us at the school, at our college. And hopefully he should be on any minute now. Is anybody else having any difficulty with Zoom today or in your regions? I have a feeling it's just the Delhi NCR region, or actually, while we're waiting for him, Siddharth, could you please also just put the slide on so we can just see a background into Vikas's career profile? So as you can see, he's had 25 years of experience in technical and business advisory. He's done managed services, SaaS, and concepts to international clients in financial services, mostly in the insurance space. He's also worked for Lloyd's of London market and the company market in the UK, and also parts from continental Europe, Middle East, and Southeast Asia. And he has previously held leadership positions at Towers Watson, AG Risk, and PwC. He is also alumni of King's College London with the University of London. It's another small fact. And I believe he is on finally. Let's see. Vikas, are you on?
I can see him in the participant list, Sonia.
Yeah, he's there.
Well, you're muted, Vikas, at the moment.
Mute and start a video.
Yes. Hi, Vikas.
Oh my God, I can see.
Hello.
Sorry.
Finally.
I had to change devices and everything, so it's just crazy. Apologies. It's just the way it is, I guess. Technology.
No, it's fine. It's fine because I've given you a big lead-up introduction, so I'm going to let you take it away so we can save some time. I know you've got a great session planned, so take it away.
Thank you very much, and no doubt you've said kind words, so I appreciate that. So thank you very much for the intro, although I didn't hear it, but I'm sure you did justice. And thank you for having me here. It's really an honor to address everybody and really speak to the future of our world, really. So I'm really grateful for you to provide me this platform to do that. So good morning, everyone. I hope you and your family are safe. I know it's been tough times, and really kudos to the university to having you to do this session and getting you going, at least. So I'm really happy that you guys are joining your future, if I may say so. So, I'm looking forward to hearing about your future and a wonderful journey at ISBF. So all the best with that as well. So today I just wanted to introduce a profession of actuarial science really to you, but I'm sure some of you probably have heard of it before. But apologies if it's a repeat to you, but I think it should add some color, because I've been in this profession for probably well over 26 years now, 27 years. Probably I started my career back in 1993. I guess some of you weren't, or most of you weren't even born then. But I've had a long, very successful journey and very, very honorable journey to date. So I wanted to share some of that with you. So what I'm going to try and cover today is what's an actuary. Some of you know about it, but really trying to home in what is an actuary, what does an actuary do, qualities that an actuary has, what does an actuary look like. I mean, if there's somebody who looks like an actuary, then it's not really me. There's multiple faces actually. So what does an actuary look like is important. What's an actuary's future? I mean, is it within India, globally, what's the future? What's it look like? What the profession's going to look like? And how it will shape our world of tomorrow. So so that's really good for me to talk to you about that as well. How do you become one is another area. What companies offer, and actually where I'm also leading RSA. So what does RSA offer? That's going to be important from my perspective to you as well. And I'm obviously happy to take questions as we go along. So please don't hesitate, and perhaps you can put your hand up to Sonia, and she'll moderate, and she'll ask me to answer some of the questions. So no problem with that. So shall we just start by saying what's an actuary? So an actuary, what do they actually do? They solve problems. I mean, you might have heard this cliche across a lot of different professions, but actually, actuaries are real problem solvers. They're strategic thinkers as well. So it's not just about, here's a problem, can you just solve it? They also think about what is a problem likely to be, and how are we likely to solve that based on with all the skills that we have under our belt. So it's really important to be that strategic thinker to be able to solve problems. But you need mathematics, you need a deep understanding of financial systems and know-how. It's not just about maths, it's about having a good, strong knowledge of economics as well, and financial accounting and all the rest of it. Although it's not an accounting profession, but a lot of the work that we use gets used by accountants as well, or for their reporting purposes. But, actuary holds very high regard across organizations and across different functions, which we'll come to in a bit. Actuaries are expert in risk, and particularly in quantification of that risk. What does that mean? So it's quantification of risk. I mean, most people say, okay, this is risky, that is risky, COVID's out there, what does that mean? We can't go out. Well, what does that mean to the businesses if you can't go out? Well, there are lots of financial impacts that businesses face. So actuaries can actually quantify that risk. And it's really important to understand the risk, so and have the tools under your belt to be able to quantify it. So as actuaries work in various areas, there are so many different types of problems and different types of risks that companies face. The actuaries help quantify that risk. So they use, like I said before, they use mathematical skills, and they use economics and other financial skills to estimate and predict future events. So imagine, any future event. There could be a storm, there could be a earthquake, there could be a national disaster like tsunamis that you might have heard of, or floods in Mumbai. Actuaries get involved in predicting a financial outcome of that as well. So it's quite quite something to be able to do that. So being an actuary means having highly valued mathematical skills and expertise in all sorts of areas. An actuarial career is one of the most diverse and exciting and rewarding in the world, and is. I've seen it in my own time. Although I've been linked with the insurance industry, but I've known actuaries across the globe working in such diverse areas, which we'll come to in a little while. But it's the way an actuary goes about his business or her business is second to none. There are not many actuaries around the globe, by the way. That's because not everybody has what it takes to become an actuary, not in terms of just pure intellect, but in terms of the way their values are, their integrity, their morals, their ethics, and that continuous thirst for knowledge and to learn how to do things, to experiment, and to be a social person as well. It's not just about making tons of money. It's actually trying to have the right values with you as well. So an actuary requires the intellect as well, the right sets of values, because you are in the public eye too. An actuarial profession is a globally recognized profession, and I'm part of an institute called Institute and Faculty of Actuaries. It's a UK body, which is a global body but based out of UK. And its membership is close. It's one of the highest amongst the world. And in India, Institute and Faculty of Actuary has, I think it's the largest student population in India, not surprisingly, but and also has a growing number of qualified actuary. And a qualified actuary means whether you're an associate or a fellow. It just doesn't always mean a fellow. So it's a globally recognized profession. An actuary works. I mean, once you have an actuarial skill, you can work globally. Especially with a global qualification from IFOA, it's fantastic. And I think if you have that aspiration, whether to be problem solvers for India or for any nation, or even at a global stage, whether it's a World Health Organization, whether it's the UN, whether it's governments, whether it's companies, whether it's multinationals, if you have that appetite and you have that vision that you're going to go and conquer the world, well, being an actuary is your cup of tea, coupled with the ethics and the integrity I mentioned earlier. So actuary lives by a code of ethics as well, and I'll encourage you guys to read up about that. It's really something is second to none, because you are in the public eye, you are doing things in public interest as well. So it's just vital for you to have the right mindset. So which area does an actuary work in? An actuary like I said, is an expert in risk. So an actuary can work in banking, insurance, pensions, investments, etc. Actuaries also work and have been known to work as a data scientists or chief data scientists in companies like Uber in the past as well. They've also worked for oil companies like BP. And I know of actuary, there was an actuary who also certified the Delhi Metro project from a capital perspective as well. So it's not just purely financial institutions, but wherever their skills gets used, where mathematical financial skills get used, they get absorbed. So actuaries work in pensions, They work in enterprise risk management. They do mergers and acquisition work. They do corporate recovery work. They do financial capital projects. They work in asset management. And I mentioned earlier that they work in pensions, life insurance, general insurance, health insurance. And personally, I've been working in general insurance for a long time. And RSA, my company, is currently is also linked to general insurance. So, you know, if you think about anything in general insurance, if you think about anything that can go wrong, whether it's your home that you live in, if there's a fire, or if the car that you drive, there's an accident, where there's a spaceship that's going up to the moon, or launching a satellite, you know, general insurance covers that. Whether it's livestock, meaning, you know, cattle and sheep, and equine, meaning horses, you know, general insurance actuaries get involved in so many different ways, including things like catastrophe modeling. So how's weather changing, and the impact of climate change on the world. So there's a social angle to it too. Health insurance is what you know, is natural. You know, I'm sure you understand about health insurance, and what, you know, medical expenses insurance. So if somebody's diagnosed, say, with COVID, or has broken a leg, or has a heart issue, or is likely to have an issue, and you tend to take out health cover, and then those things get covered. And life insurance is what happens if somebody dies. Then, well, you know, that's whether you get paid out or not, whether you want to keep your estate safe, your family safe, financially safe, that is. Then you take out life insurance as well, and pensions for retirement. So when you get to retirement age, you still need an income, and actually works to work out what that income should be based on your lifestyle. So, you know, within, if I just dive deeper into each of the segments. So if you talk about life insurance, so within a life insurance company, an actuary will be involved in product development, pricing of those products, risk assessment. So even within the insurance company, there's risk assessments that go on for the company as well. So there's critical illness. So somebody gets, you know, cancer or something, that's critical illness. And then, you know, what does that mean? And actuary gets to work on that kind of problem too. There's disability insurance. And I've talked about general insurance, like likes of motor insurance, home insurance. I talked about commercial risks like aviation, marine, space, livestock, buildings, terrorism, cyber insurance, you name it, and actually gets involved in all that area. There are things like industrial diseases as well. So like you would have heard, I'm not sure whether you read all the pages, but there are companies who violate the norms. They violate our water table, where that industrial waste seeps down into the water, and then, you know, general public consumes that water, and you'll find that people get sick, but somebody has to be responsible for. So an actuary gets to work out the damage and liability caused by that. So there's an old movie called Erin Brockovich. It's an amazing movie. Watch that. If you can. There's an actuary in there as well. They're actually cited in several movies, actually. But even in that movie, they talk about pollution and how an actuary estimates the cost of that pollution. So it's quite wide in terms of application of actuarial skills. They work in health. I've spoken about health, was medical insurance, investment management. So, you know, where does what does an actuary do in investment management? Obviously, there's investment analysis and portfolio management, and also in buying and selling of assets. That's what an actuary does. Actuary also works in a corporate finance, forecasting and assessing risks, ideal for estimating viability of capital projects as well. And actually also works in government, where you know, from all government policies, whether it's their own retirement policy or whether it's agriculture, actuary gets involved in policy making as well. So it's wide reaching. The profession's very, very wide reaching. And I think it's really, really important that, you know, if you have that ability or that want to make a difference in the world, you know, being an actuary is certainly, you know, a profession for you to consider. And being young right now and thinking what to do, not everybody knows what they want to do post graduation, is something that you should research. There's plenty of videos on YouTube from Institute and Faculty of Actuaries in the UK, and also if you go to actuaries.org.uk, there's tons of information on that. And there are obviously examinations to be sat as well. It's not just a straightforward, so it's not for faint-hearted. The professional examination, which lasts you a lifetime, but like I said, it's a continuous learning profession. So once you've qualified, you still continue to learn and keep updated and to be relevant in society. So why become an actuary? Obviously, it's intellectually satisfying. There are so many actuaries across the globe, and you know they wouldn't do anything else but because it's from an intellectual appeal perspective, it ranks amongst the highest. It gives you a chance to make a real difference, like I said before. It's not for the faint-hearted, but it gets you consumed and be there around the globe to make a difference. And it's a passport as well. I mean, one of the things that I've noticed with actuarial skills is that, you know, despite you know, global closure of borders, perhaps, whether it's US, UK, Europe, or other parts of the world, you know, funnily enough, for actuarial skills, you know, the world's open because there's so much shortage of actuaries, actuarial skills. So the world becomes more and more open. So it's a global passport. It's financially rewarding. It's not going to make you rich overnight, for sure, right? It just won't make you rich overnight, but it will make you rich over time. And that's something that, you've got to define your own richness, but it does make you rich both financially as well as, you know, personally and intellectually. And it also provides you great work-life balance. It's not one of those that says you've got to work 18-hour days, but having said that, to get anywhere in life, you have to work very hard. You have to work very smart. But the key thing about being an actuary, you have to be patient as well. It's not something that you can just do and say, okay, one day I want to be an actuary, and next day you'll become an actuary. It's a continuous practice, and you become globally recognized as well. So, like I said, it's globally respected profession. So typically, where does an actuary work? It works, like I said, in terms of all the areas, but they also work in strategic consulting, management consulting, where there's Big Four. That actually works in everywhere. But it's not like each company employs thousands and thousands of actuaries. They don't. You know, some companies, large companies, won't have more than 100 actuaries. Some companies won't have more than 10 actuaries. So
can I interject? Yep. I have a question.
Sure.
So in terms of a student career path, what would be the best undergraduate degree, or what would be the best major to pursue?
Sure. I'm going to come to that part, right? So okay. I'm going to come to the part where I'll talk about how do you become an actuary. So I'm going to come to that aspect in a bit, and also in terms of work, where you can seek employment, sure. Things like that. So I'll just come to that in a second, Sonia. So thanks sure. for bringing that out. And if I forget, please remind me again. But it is on my things in my list of things to talk about. So, you know, in terms of cons, why you don't want to become an actuary, it's only when you don't want continuous learning, and if you're afraid of doing exams, then don't do it, right? That would be my thing to you. Just don't do it. But the skills that you'll acquire can be used in every walk of life. There's a massive outlook. There's a massive need for